Jane Nielsen. I'm delighted to be here with Lorna Ruby, the book buyer for the Wellesley Books. And Lorna, you're going to give us some great ideas for some summer reads.
Yes, absolutely. So I have here a great mixture of hardcover, paperbacks, fiction and nonfiction, and I'll run through it really quickly. The first one of my favorites for the summer, the project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. He is the author of The Martian. If you haven't read The Martian, you need to read The Martian. If you saw the movie with Matt Damon, you still need to read the book because they left out a lot of great action. So this is his latest book, just as much fun, just as much science, humor, and the whole world is in trouble and this one guy is going to save us all. The next one is Band of Sisters by Lauren Willig. She's a wonderful author. She writes historical fiction, and she found the idea for this book while she was researching a different book at Smith College. It turns out that a bunch of Smith women and professors went to France during World War I to help out the people, the poor people in the villages that were on the front line. So they brought money and they bought trucks and they learned how to farm and take care of animals. And so it's the wonderful story of based on the real women who did this, about their experiences in France during the war and their relationships together. I read a lot of mysteries in the summer, and this one is a great one. It is hopefully the first in a series. It's called The Windsor Knot by S.J. Bennett, and the subtitle is Her Majesty the Queen Investigates. So the premise is great. Queen Elizabeth is very smart, very in tune with what's going on in the palace, and has been solving mysteries for years. She lets the police think that they're the ones doing it. So this one starts with her new young assistant who does the investigating for her, has been hired by the palace. She thinks she's an assistant to the queen. She doesn't even know, but she has a military background. Someone is killed at an overnight dinner party at Windsor Castle, and the queen has to figure out what's going on. The next 4 are nonfiction. So this book by Anthony Bourdain called World Travel is a compilation of his writings that his assistant and his family put together after his death. He loved to travel, he loved to explore new people, new places, new food, and this is a collection of his writing, and when there were gaps, they had his family and friends tell stories to fill in the gaps. The next book is called Chasing the Thrill by Daniel Barbarisi. He is actually a local author. He was a reporter. This is his second book. A friend of his called him one day and said, "Have you ever heard of this treasure?" I've forgotten the man's name already. Forrest Fenn. Forrest Fenn was a rich art collector. He got a diagnosis of cancer. He decided to put together a treasure chest of gold and jewels, hide it in the Rockies, and write a poem that had all the clues that you needed to find the real life treasure. His friend got fascinated with it. Many people are fascinated, have been fascinated by it. It started in 2010. He did not die, so he got to watch people as they tried to find their treasure, and Daniel helps his friend just to report on it, but finds these amazing, crazy stories that go along with it. I am a gardener. I love to read about nature, and if you do too, this is the book for you. It's called Seed to Dust. It's by Mark Hammer. His previous book was How to Catch a Mole, which sounds really weird, but it really was his job for a while. But this is him, a year in a life, him taking care of, he's the sole gardener at an estate. He's very observant about nature, his own relationship with his wife, their little town in England that they live in, and the day-to-day doings. A very internal monologue, kind of meditative with lots of literary quotes. Really a joy to read, even if you don't like to garden. And the last hardcover is by John Green, who is very well known as a young adult author. This is the Anthropocene Reviewed. The idea of it was actually started as a podcast. He and his brother have been doing blogs and things for years and videos. So it's technically a book of essays, a wide range of subjects, the Indianapolis 500, Halley's Comet, pieces of art. It's really entertaining, well-researched, and it's the kind of book you can drop in and out of. I thought it was terrific.
Good Father's Day gift.
Good Father's Day gift, for sure. This is another one of those family books. It's called How to Die in Space by Paul Sutter. You might get the sense that I'm a big space person because this is my second one, but it's not really true. But fascinating, interesting. He's an astrophysicist. The premise is if you traveled into space, you would die. There are so many dangers. And so he explains what's going on in space, just what leaving the Earth's atmosphere is like, stars dying, stars being born, black holes. It's all here, entertaining, interesting, and funny. Everybody needs a thriller. This is Ruth Ware. She's British. She's had quite a few bestsellers. This is her latest in paperback. And it's a great summer read because it's the story of this startup company who goes to a private villa. The only people there to take care of them are the housekeeper, chef, and the chef. And there's an avalanche. They're trapped and people start dying. Okay. So the chef and the housekeeper are the only ones trying to save their own lives, trying to save the lives of their clients. A little bit different, Isabel Allende is more of a literary read, historical fiction, Long Petal to the Sea, Petal of the Sea. It's beautifully written. It's set in Spain in the 1930s. It's the revolution there. It's one of those historical arcs where you get that whole time period in a really interesting way. A couple of different families. A lot of people escaped Spain, went to South America, and Pablo Neruda, the poet, was part of it and was a big national figure, and he actually hired ships to get people out. Another local author who we love, Barbara Delinsky. This is A Week at the Shore, out in paperback just this past week. It's a wonderful story about a New York photographer, a single mom, going back to Rhode Island where her family lives. There's a dark family secret about her parents and the breakup of their marriage, and her younger sister is still there with her dad. There's an old romance. There's like I said, secrets, a lot of secrets, and really enjoyable, plus the Rhode Island shore. Another really fun summer read, Musical Chairs by Amy Poppel. The main character is a woman who, with her best friend from college, are in a trio. They keep losing the third person, the violinist, and they're searching for somebody who can, raise their stature, as it were. But she decides to take the summer off from New York City. She's a single mom, 20-something twins. They come back to this cottage that she's living in Connecticut. So there's a lot of interesting characters and mayhem and fun. Mm-hmm. And my last one, Dog on It by Spencer Quinn. This is the first in a series. And if you are a dog lover, you will love this series of books. So it's called a Chet and Bernie mystery because Chet is the dog. He was trained as a police dog. Something went wrong during his final tests. He never passed. He won't talk about it. But he's the one telling you the story. He lives with Bernie, who's a private eye, ex-cop. And so it's his personal life, his investigations. Chet tells the story. And you would think a shtick like that would get tired after a while, but the man knows a dog's voice. And you love the dog, you love the people, you get a whole story, a mystery in each one. And I have to just say that Stephen King has a blurb on the back of this book. Wow. That says, Spencer Quinn speaks 2 languages, suspense and dog, fluently. Sometimes funny, sometimes touching, and in a few places terrifying. It's an enchanted, one-of-a-kind novel. So, that's it.
Wonderful. Well,
yes.
Thank you. What a wonderful assortment of great summer reads. Can't wait to dive in. Mm-hmm. So come down to Wellesley Books. There's lots of gifts that weren't here before the pandemic. There's lots of great reads. Lorna will be here to give you some recommendations. And thank you, Lorna. That was terrific.
You're welcome. Thank you.